Hello everyone and welcome to Journeys in Technology inaugural event at the beautiful SLS Dubai Hotel and Residences. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Michaela. I am the founder of Journeys, and together with me today is Alex, who's just down there waving, our events director, Alessia, the events executive, who are joining me from the London office for this busy week. Journeys specializes in creating unforgettable, world-class niche events around the world. We are pioneers of organizing events using innovative networking technologies. Our ways truly deliver a personal and highly engaging experiences for all of our delegates. We want to help them forge relationships, establish trust, and do business for the future. To this end, we have trademarked a new word, and that word is the fam-meet way of doing business. We believe that positive memories help forge trust, and trust, in turn, leads to business. And this is the reason why, rather than staying in one location, our events are structured around unique destinations, building memories together through some wonderful local experiences. Just a couple of days ago, we have hosted, we've just returned back from Journeys in North America in the exciting city of Houston. During that event, 25 global suppliers and 35 luxury buyers from the United States met in unique venues such as the Fine Art Museum of Houston, the NASA Center, experiencing culinary delights and thrills of attending a baseball game, the Astros. And to make it even more exciting, we actually met a real astronaut, which was absolutely amazing. This is the true spirit of the fam-meet way of doing business, where buyers and suppliers together, through these unique experiences, they build memories. Memories build trust, and trust form the foundation of long-lasting business relationships. Today is the inaugural edition of Journeys in Technology, as I said a while ago. This is a breakfast networking session exploring the growing influence of technology in the travel luxury experience. And to help us do that, DNATA Travel Group CEO John Bevan and technology expert Ewan MacLeod will be talking in a little bit. Thank you so much to our partners for this inaugural edition, the SLS Dubai Hotels and Residences, our host venue, and our breakfast sponsor, DNATA Travel Group, our content partner, and TTN Middle East, our media partner. So I am now delighted to welcome you on stage and say a few words. Our GM of the SLS Dubai Hotels and Residences, Spencer Wadama. Everyone, Spencer.
I don't know if I need a microphone. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay.
You got a deep voice.
I'm going to go with that. All right. All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to SLS. We're very excited and very proud to have you here. We're very proud to partner with Journeys and Michaela. I think it's, obviously this is a very exciting week to be in Dubai for us in the travel industry. And so anytime we can partner with an amazing group like Journeys, we're always going to jump at the opportunity, because I think it is a collaborative effort to really move forward the travel industry. And especially in Dubai, as dynamic as Dubai can be and as competitive as Dubai can be, it's for a brand like us, it's all about being relevant in the market and staying relevant in the market. And that's one thing for us in SLS. SLS is a weird brand, and when we opened 3.5 years ago, nobody knew what the hell SLS was, because it was a very American brand. The only one really left was, there's one in Beverly Hills, which is a franchise hotel, so it's not even part of our group anymore. and then there's one in Miami South Beach. So when you come to this side of the Atlantic, everyone's like, what is that? And then there is a ton of different definitions on what people think SLS is. Some good, some not so good. Some, let's say, some appropriate, some inappropriate. But what we really wanted to do is we wanted to bring the lifestyle luxury to Dubai in a different way. Our competitive set would be, let's say, the W or the V for Hilton, or I'm trying to think what else is here, but there's really nothing else here or 5, right? But five we didn't really want to compete with because they were going after a totally different type of market. They were going after really the die-hard party set. And we didn't want that because we needed to, the idea with Ennismore is to grow SLS as a luxury lifestyle. So this hotel is really the brand standard now for what SLS is going to be. I don't know does anyone know Ennismore? What Ennismore is? Ennismore is quite, you have to explain it a lot because yes, we are part of Accor, but Accor is kind of like a grandfather for us. There's a company called Ennismore that kind of bought the rights to SLS. And Ennismore is owned 70% by Accor. So that's the relationship. And Ennismore is probably one of the most fastest growing lifestyle groups in the world right now. I just went to a launch event for Delano, which is one of our sister brands. We have a mama shelter that's going to be opening end of this year in Business Bay again. We're part of Mondrian. So Mondrian in Doha, Mondrian in Beverly Hills, Mondrian in Miami. Of course, we have hotels that are coming up in Red Sea Project. A lot of growth in GCC. We just opened a Mondrian in Hong Kong, in Singapore. We're opening an SLS in Barcelona by end of this year. And we just opened a Mondrian in Ibiza actually 2 weeks ago. So it's a tremendous amount of growth in our group, And it's really with your partnership and with your support that we're going to continue to grow. So thank you very much, and welcome to Dubai. Welcome to SLS, and have a good day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Spencer. We really look forward to spending some time in this beautiful property. And come on, the views are absolutely breathtaking. So thank you. And thank you for your gracious generosity on sponsoring the breakfast. I'd like now to introduce you to Ewan MacLeod. He will be chairing this session. He's a renowned technology expert known for his insights into AI, fintech, digital transformation. Ewan is also the founder of New Era Digital Partners. Ewan will be having a fireside chat with CEO of DNATA Travel Group, John Bevan. John's wealth of experience in the industry and his visionary leadership has elevated the DNATA Travel Group to new heights. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome on stage Ewan and John.
Thank you. We'll just get set up. Here we go. Let's go for it. Nice one. So stand by for a roller coaster of a ride, everybody. Okay, thank you. I'll take. Let's make sure we've got these microphones going. There we go. John, for you. And there we go. Right. Now then. Before we begin, we are at a rather interesting point here in technology and travel. So we will, I think, John, be talking a little bit about that thing called AI. But I think before we get to all that and the excitement of hearing how things are moving for one of the largest players here in the region. John, first of all, who are you, John? How did you get here? What's your background to getting to DNATA Travel Group?
Morning, Ewan.
Morning.
Morning, everyone. So I've been in the industry a long time, actually, over about 35 years. Always been in the travel industry. Spent my early parts in France working for a hotel group called Campanile Hotels. Spent 11 years with them. Moved to the UK and soon went into the .com world. So I was very fortunate to work for a group called EMAP Publishing. Needed to get rid of their businesses, and somehow they thought I could sell it, which I managed to, which is a first for me. Ended up at a company called OTC, who then got acquired by lastminute.com. Wow. So in 2004, I joined through acquisition and then ended up running lastminute.com as the MD for the UK business. In 2008, left them, did a bit of consulting, and then I had another lucky break because of lastminute.com. Actually, the founders, some of the guys who were working for lastminute.com France contacted Brent Hoberman, the co-founder of Last Minute, and they needed to open a branch in the UK. And that was a company called Voyage Privé, a flash sale business, which is extremely successful today. So I opened their business, literally 2 staff, opened it up, ran it for about 3 years, took it to about 1.2 million members, and break even in 3 years. And then I needed to do something else. So I got approached through LinkedIn. So LinkedIn does work for recruitment.
There we go.
Plug for them.
Yeah.
And I decided to do something a bit strange. So I joined a company called Spa Finder, which is basically a gift card for spas and a listing of spas. And I ran up from lastminute.com, glory days of hundreds of people. I ended up running a business with 6 people in the UK. Took it out of loss into profit, and then the founder asked me to go to the US because he decided that he didn't like living in New York anymore. His boat was in Florida, and so he was going to move the whole company to Miami, and he needed someone to do that for him. So he called me over, and then to my surprise asked me to move to Miami, which wasn't on the cards. We did that, spent 2.5 years there, rebuilt his business. He then actually ran out of money, or didn't want to put any money into Spa Finder anymore, so I sold it for him to a finance business, or right, a gift card business called Blackhawk. And then another bit of luck, I needed to get back to the UK, right? So I joined DNATA.
Was that by LinkedIn? Was that LinkedIn?
That wasn't actually. That was through connections.
Oh, interesting.
So
okay.
Just through friend of a friend said, any jobs, anything you know of in the
right,
UK. Said, yeah, there's a bunch of people who've just left the B2B businesses. Maybe there's a role there. And I knew the guy running B2C who I'd employed back in the day at Last Minute. So through connections, went to interview, went through the process. And so I started running our B2B businesses, Gold Medal and Travel 2. Then things changed. He moved on, so I took on B2C as well in the UK, which is Travel Bag and Travel Republic principally. And then we went into COVID, which is not much fun.
I don't know if we're allowed to mention the C word in the travel industry. Are we allowed to?
So, well, not really. So anyway, so I run that. We had to do lots of horrible things, get rid of lots of people. And then my fortune turned again. The more restructures at this set over here in Dubai, and the role to run DNATA Travel Group globally came up. So I applied for that. And even though I said I'd never work abroad again, I was quite happy living back in England on the farm. Here I am. So 3 years in June, running a quite complex set of businesses over here in Dubai, loving life in Dubai. Couldn't have timed it better. Been very fortunate.
Fabulous. Now, I wanted to make sure we got that good overview there of John's career, because when we hear him speaking and when I ask him some excruciating questions, he'll be able to answer with that long context of travel, but technology as well, John. For those that perhaps, I think we all know DNATA, and I think we probably have a good overview of the group, but just give us a quick summary of the travel group, just so we're there, and then let's get into it.
Yeah, so it was interesting actually, because in the UK, as I said, we've got a B2B business, Gold Medal, largest long-haul tour operator, only selling trade only through the trade. And then we have 3 B2C brands now. We have restructured a bit and got rid of some brands. So we've got really Travel Republic, OTA, a Travel Bag, long-haul specialist tour operator, and NetFlight's a flight operator. So, and that's all not all, but I've really focused on digital since 2000. Gold Medal was great, got me back into tour operating and selling through the trade. I came here and discovered a whole load of businesses. Yes. So
there's a lot of logos there, John. Right?
We're the largest corporate travel business here. We partnered, signed a contract last year with Amex GBT, so we are the Amex GBT partner for the whole of the GCC. We have offices in KSA, so Saudi, Bahrain, Oman, Iraq, and then so that's all really mainly corporate travel. We're about 35% market share here in the UAE, so a big business. We have 14 retail shops under DNATA Travel here in Dubai and Sharjah, and then we go into other parts of the business. So DNATA is actually the Dubai National Airline Travel Agency. Started back in 1959 as a GSA for airlines. So we're still that. We have about 30 airlines on our books, a lot of them here, but also India, KSA, Oman, Bahrain. So we're lots of GSAs. We're also GSAs for some hotels, Club Med in the region, Hertz, some insurance businesses. So a whole load of ground of that as well. And then, just to make things a bit more complicated, we also have a DMC here, Arabian Adventures, and we acquired during COVID a DMC in Asia called Destination Asia, which is around across 10 or 11 countries now across Asia. So, and then not to finish off, also we have a wholesale business called Yalago. So it's a bed bank. Started out from bringing all of our contracting power from all the businesses we acquired together and then resell the contracts that we do for ourselves. So it's a more specialist bed bank, really focused on long haul, predominantly with some Mediterranean product from the Travel Republic guys. So it's a great product that's growing at a hell of a pace. We were very fortunate actually coming out of COVID. It's one of the businesses that accelerated the most. Because of the source markets we're in, we're able to diversify. So we've got source markets literally now all over the world. So it gives us a footprint of not just being overly reliant on the Middle East or the UK, which is still a big chunk. The big volumes come out of the UK. But having the bed bank, it spreads out the risk and be able to work with whether it's from basically Russia, Asia, right across to the US and South America.
Thank you for that, John.
I don't think I've forgotten any.
That sounded pretty comprehensive, found it. But getting into it then, I wanted to ask your view on the hype, whether that's a positive or negative word, the hype around AI, and where is your attention as the executive leading the travel group? We hear a lot about AI journey planning, and AI will remove the need for travel agents. And so on. What's your perspective on that, and how are you thinking about that now and then, just into the future?
So I won't do what the chairman of APTUS did when the internet appeared, and he was at a conference, and he said to the travel agents, "You're better off spending money on the carpet of your shop than investing in the internet." So I'm not going to say that AI isn't going to help. But it does tickle me when people say it's great, now you can do itineraries. So you can do a 3-day itinerary around Paris and what to do. Honestly, if that's what you're going to do with it, which is effectively take the information that's available out there on the internet, that's been written by a load of other people, and replicate it through your AI, and give that to your customers, then you're as unoriginal as it can be, right? Because it's what's out there already. So... And is it really going to help sell? If you've got a good salesperson on the end of the phone or in your shop, they're going to do a much better job than someone reading it themselves. We know people don't like reading content even on websites.
Right.
It's always been the challenge we've all had. So we went from text, then we went into image, then we're into video. So now we're into social media, which is even shorter, even less text, just image driven. So it tickled me a lot when when people went AI travel itineraries.
Yes.
It just tickled me massively, because I thought, well, if you can't do an itinerary yourself, if you can't write decent itineraries for the holidays you're selling, and you need AI, good luck to you.
Right. I think I hope for those the agents in the audience smiling nicely. I hope. But what are you doing internally then? How are you thinking about AI and some valuable uses, as in not just repurposing content?
So I think In the last few years, we've seen huge increase in costs, human cost. There's been a massive adjustment coming out of COVID, and even offshoring is becoming more expensive. In fact, offshoring is going up faster in percentage terms than some of the more mature countries. And therefore, travel's always been quite good at investing in the front end. So websites look quite good. The back ends are often terrible. And I've been through a lot of companies, whether it's lastminute.com, that was all sticky tape and blue. And I mean, it's horrible. It was literally all manual. We had faxes going out for every booking with every client, all their details. This was before GDPR. So I actually see, we're already starting to look at using AI and robotics to help with back-end processes.
Right.
Travel industry is notoriously manual. We've all tried really hard to automate things end to end, but we've got so many suppliers around the world, so many different systems, airlines, trains, ferries, you name it, cruises. There's nothing. There's no one system out there. Even the GDSs, still struggling with NDC and all this sort of business. So we're already seeing some really good usage of using AI in the back-end processes.
Give us an example, John. How and robotics as well. Can you give us a few examples of how you've used that?
So we still are very strong at contracting hotels, and we still call this nickname paper contracts, but basically manual contracts rather than the electronic feeds, which then puts you into category with a bunch of other people. So we still have people out there contracting hotels, but that's a manual job. And now I'm pleased to say, actually, just recently we've built a bot using robotics and AI to read contracts and load them. So we went through our first one. We've got about 25-30% gain in time, and it's just early days. We think we're going to get to 70-80% gain once we've got it all finalised. It's getting smarter and smarter. It's able to read handwriting. It's able to read text, obviously, or in typed text. So it's only going to get better. And obviously the question is you need to double check to start with for the accuracy. But that's one area. The other area is all the manual processes around finance, reconciliations, all that. Anything that's typed, anything that's come through a system, anything that's data-based, it can then start sorting and fixing. So when you start actually looking at all of the things that you do manually, where there's manual interventions, you move things across. We've had a couple of real successes in the UK with schedule changes. So whenever an airline changes a schedule by a certain percentage, normally speaking, an agent would go in, look at the queue, pick up the schedule change information, go in and start emailing the customer saying, here's your new time.
Right. And
then if it's over a certain period, there's a proper intervention. If it's hours and they're going to miss their connection. The robot does all that automatically. So we used to pay a fortune in overtime for the team, and now no overtime. So we actually we can see the pound savings and the speed. Because as soon as the schedule change comes in, within seconds, minutes, the client's alerted. Well, before it went into a queue. So then we had to prioritize a queue depending on the departure time. So now it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the volume is. It just comes in and gets automated.
How are your teams discovering those use cases? Do you have a process? Are you looking at the top? These are the top 5 costly things. Or how are you applying that?
So it's a good question actually. So coming out of that dreaded COVID period, we had to find ways of, one, we'd shrunk massively, and then to everyone's surprise, the people weren't there when we needed to rehire. So rehiring was really difficult. Right. The job workload went up on everyone. You couldn't bring in people who weren't skilled to do those sort of jobs. And we put a team together working with IT and project management and the business to look at all manual processes where we thought a bot could start acting and start helping out to accelerate the process. So it's a joint effort between IT projects and the business. And then you started looking at the use cases and seeing which one we thought. Because at first you don't know how successful it's going to be, right? So you do a few test runs, and then you go, actually, that's brilliant. That's really saving time. Also, not forgetting the customer, right? You've got to do it because the customer's getting something out of it. So faster, more accurate, quick and more efficient. So that's kind of how we did it and started working through it. And we had several teams in different parts of the business, whether it's the operations, the back-end processes, the finance back-end processes, and then the front-end, all the loading and so on.
So you mentioned the customer there as well. How is the customer driving, or is it the customer driving? Is it their expectation, their end expectation, driving how you're adjusting? Yeah, give us
100%.
some more on that.
I mean, when things go slightly wrong, the call volumes are huge.
Right.
Unexpectedly, we had quite a lot of rain here in Dubai, which you shouldn't actually advertise that. Don't put that on the AI feed. I've had 3 friends turn up, one in January, February, March, and they all saw rain.
Gosh.
And I said to them, it never rains here. And then a few weeks ago, we had a really bad storm. And so our call volumes tripled, our email volumes doubled. Of course, we had people working from home, and that's where you hope the automation starts to help. So it's when things like that happened, coming out of COVID, as I said, we didn't have enough people. So you had to find, all you have to do is think about the customer. You don't want to keep the customer waiting.
Right.
So although there's a cost element, there's also an efficiency element about being quick. Another really interesting use case, at the moment in our call centers, we measure success through questionnaires. So after you've hung up, often the call center agent will say, do you mind just answering a couple of questions? Right. So you got your CSAT, and you've got your NPSs and all that sort of stuff. AI is going to listen to every single call now. Right. So what you'll then be able to do is tap in, can I hear the calls where people were not happy? Can I hear the calls that were happy? Can I hear the calls that were worried about the rain, delays? So then you could categorize all those calls and go and listen to those. So suddenly your quality team, instead of fishing sort of ad hoc or just targeting the negative ones, which is they would normally do, they get an alert and go and listen to that call. So all they do is listen to bad calls all day. They can now actually have the system actually tell you overall what is the true picture. Really good. So rather than just a handful of people that weren't happy, they actually bothered to fill it in, you'll get the true picture day in, day out of every single conversation. There's an oft-repeated phrase, AI will not take your job. It's a person using AI that will take your job. I wonder, how are you looking at the possibility of augmenting if I'm on the phone with an agent, with one of your agents, how are you, or are you looking at helping your agents just upsell or just give a better quality service? Yeah, so I think there is a use case. They can't know, let's say they're doing a trip to Singapore, they're in the city, they're not necessarily going to know at that time of year what's going on. So they will, hopefully AI will be able to feed the agent to say, actually at that time you've got the museums are open from this time to that time, there's a concert on. Right. By the way, you've got F1 on, so you may not want to go that week. You might want to go, that's why it's expensive, go the next week. I mean, I'm hoping F1 they'd know about, but no, I mean, you could imagine that for cities, for destinations, you could have it feed all sorts of interesting information. So if the client says, I'm interested in, the beauty is if it's listening live and it says, I'm interested in culture, it could actually start feeding museums, what museums are open, what the opening times, how much the tickets are. So it could do add-ons which will be super quick and very relevant to the conversation because it'll be listening at the same time. But I don't think it'll take over the conversation. Gotcha. I'm interested to get your perspective on WhatsApp and then bricks and mortar because what you're operating a group that is, if you like, doing the whole gamut here. So you can physically walk into a shop, but at the same time, this region, I think, in many regions, runs on WhatsApp. Could you say a little bit about that dichotomy there? You've got 1 minute everything's on the phone, but then you're also having customers walk in and physically buy. How's that working? So I think ultimately we should be thinking about the customer, and but as much as possible, we should be able to respond to however the customer wants to communicate with us. And fortunately, all the new technologies are allowing that, right? So it's WhatsApp, it's calling, it could be emailing still, and they still do in this region. Email's huge, especially in corporate travel. It could be fully online. It could be assisted online through chat. So I think really you can't succeed unless you look at technology that opens everything up. It does bring challenges because WhatsApp, you could be trying to handle multiple conversations. You've got to make sure the agent knows what they're doing. But we've used quite successfully WhatsApp for our DMC on inbound. Right. So we did a pilot with Travel Bag for a concierge service. So when the client arrives with Travel Bag's permission, the client's permission, they get a WhatsApp on arrival saying, "Welcome to Dubai. If there's anything you need, then contact us." Yeah. Most people now they'll have Wi-Fi in the airport, so you can hit them straight away. But then they'll have Wi-Fi at the hotel if they haven't got some roaming card. So effectively, you can then communicate with them, and then it's just a WhatsApp away. So they can just send you a quick message. Of course, you've got to be on it because you've got to be able to answer quite quickly. Because unlike email, where people will probably accept a few hours, WhatsApp, they expect you to answer straight away.
Minutes, exactly.
So exactly right. So I think, for me, you've got to have everything available. You've got to use everything. The interesting thing on the shops and the data is here we're still well over 50% booked offline. So either call or
I find
shop.
that staggering.
Well,
astonishing.
In the rest of the world, it's more like 30%. Right. So we're well above here. It's actually even higher than that. But it's going to take a while because here the human element. We saw corporate travel here return much faster than Europe and the US.
Right.
They were running at 75% coming out of COVID for a couple of years. We were 100% within 12 months of reopening. Because people want to meet, they want to do this rather than be on Zoom or Teams.
Yes.
So the human interaction is super important here, and I think testament to that will be ATM. If it's anything like last year, where we were still supposed to be wearing masks, I think. Well, was that the first year? I can't remember. It was just chaos. People just ripped them off and said, "No, I want to see who you are.
I want to talk." Yes.
So I want to talk. So I'm really hoping that ATM is going to be as busy as last year. Probably not quite as much. We couldn't actually move in the corridors from one place to the other. So they have moved the stands around a bit. So hopefully they've made them a bit wider, so we can actually get from one meeting to the next. So human interaction here is super important. We have people. The community in Dubai, the population is very different to anywhere else. Right? There's only 10% of the population are nationals, Emiratis. Amazingly welcoming people, because when you think you're the minority, they don't have a chip on their shoulder at all. I think they really appreciate that the world has helped develop their country into a mega destination. But then you've got everything from the Indians, Pakistanis, Filipinos, and then Westerners, people from Australia, you name it, South Africa. In Emirates Group, we have 170 nationalities.
Wow.
There's 190 odd, I think, in the world. And we did a world record attempt. Well, we are a world record holder for the most nationalities to do a yoga class in the desert. It was previously held by the UN, who did it in New York, I believe, 135 nationalities. We didn't quite get the number we wanted. We got 144.
That's good.
But unfortunately, some people had to get on flights and stuff. We got a lot of single nationalities in our pilots and our cabin crew.
Right.
So it was a whole of Emirates Group. We had 144 nationalities doing yoga at the same time. It's quite a sight. So the power of this part of the world is phenomenal. When you say diversity, I thought we were diverse in London. It kind of makes you laugh now. I've had meetings in my office with a dozen people with dozen nationalities sat around the office. So here, when they buy holidays or they buy flights, you get everything from still cash for flights home to buying credit cards to package holidays, going to the Maldives or Asia, for tens of thousands of pounds equivalent.
And
it's a real mix.
Is there a pattern like I'm researching, I'm showrooming online, then coming into the place, into the branch to visit, or is it I'm coming to ask advice? How are you seeing it?
There's everything here. So you've got the guys who need a ticket, so they'll just go in and buy it over the counter. You've got, our GSAs all have ticket offices still here. So then people go in to Pakistan Airways, Singapore, and buy their ticket over the counter, which is quite strange because we haven't seen many of those in the UK for a long time.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, so on the research piece, I think you get a bit of everything. One thing that's super popular here is social media. and that has a huge influence. So DNATA Travel does quite a good job on social media. We showcase some beautiful destinations.
Is this Instagram typically, TikTok?
Instagram, big.
Right,
I mean, but all play. And the influencers work so for the the Emirati community, Instagram and just their big influencers make a big difference. And if you're fortunate enough that one of the sheikhs turns up in your country, like Sheikh Hamdan went to Mauritius last year, and it was on Instagram, and you could see Emiratis booking Mauritius. There was I can't remember who went to South Africa a couple of years ago, and a lot of them are going to South Africa, to Cape Town, to check it out. So, when people say, does social media work, in some parts of the world, if you get the right influencer and you get then it really does.
Then, John, before we close, I'd like crystal ball time. Crystal ball time. Thank you for that. But can you now, next 10 years, what do you think from a technology standpoint will really be pushing the travel market? Any views?
I'm not a big fan of crystal balls. I've got a bit against it. What I will say, it's one of my pet subjects. So Gen Zs, Gen whatever they're called, the next lot, they will tell me, when they started out, the millennials, I'm that old, that when the millennials came out, they were trendy, everyone said they're internet savvy, they won't need your travel agent.
Right.
They've got kids now, guess where they're booking their holidays? With a travel agent, because it's a bit more complicated. So I think one thing that I think the travel industry needs to get away from is pigeonholing. So where will because effectively, if you take, let's say yourself,
right,
you go on 3 holidays a year, let's say, because you're a wealthy man. You may go with your family on one, you may go with some mates on the other, you may even go on your own and do something. If we were to profile you on the holiday one, you'd be family man, holidays, we'll send him stuff about kids.
Right.
And then the next 2 holidays, we're out of profile. Your skiing holiday, out of profile. So it's the same thing with the age groups. As they evolve, their demands change, and as it becomes more complicated, you need help, because the internet, whatever it does, I still think in the future, complex holidays, first time to wherever it might be, Asia, South America, I still think you're going to get some help, because there's so much information on the internet. I don't think it's going to change. There's going to be more information, and there's going to be more made-up information, AI information, so you won't even know if it's true or not.
Yes.
And therefore, you'll probably end up ringing someone to say, I've read about this, is that true?
What do you think?
Talk to the expert.
Yeah.
So we are spending a lot of money on making people go, sending our agents out on fam trips to make sure they've experienced it. There's nothing worse than talking to an agent that's not been there, it's just reading it off the internet. You may as well do it yourself. So even though they may know a bit more about it, it's still not great. So we pride ourselves on really having agents that have experienced the product. Brands like Travel Bag Gold Medal goes through very strict training. The call routing is routed to people who know the destination, and then the ones that know it a bit get fewer calls, and then they get to learn and so on. So the idea is that you get value out of talking to someone who knows. So I think crystal ball, I don't see the complex things changing that much. I still think the human element will be super important. I hope that the simple, that's when you say I'm going to book online or book through my chat or whichever way, will be seamless, properly seamless. And the bit that I don't think many of us get right yet, and we're still not there, is the manage my booking.
Right.
So I'd like to think that definitely in 10 years' time, once you've made your booking, if you want to change it, that will be seamless. Hopefully all the systems will talk to each other so that you can amend your booking without calling someone, because that a lot of well-known, travelers who know what they're doing will be happy doing.
Yes.
Because they'll have had the information they need. If they want to modify, add some, change the nights or whatever. Because that at the moment is a costly experience where if I look at Travel Republic, we sell 90% online. We have quite a high touch rate afterwards because people want to change, cancel, amend, or do something else.
And phoning for that, right?
And that, although we're trying to automate it, the connectivity between all the systems, depending on what they've booked, if it's slightly complex, it's just not there yet, and it's expensive. And sometimes you think, well, I'll let them call because that's going to cost me too much money to automate.
Yes.
So I think as systems get easier, hopefully, we've been saying that about a long time, right? NDC was supposed to make things better content. It's not even out yet, and that's been going for 10 years. So let's hope the next 10 years goes a bit quicker on NDC. The airlines give us better content so that you'll be able to, pick the films you want to watch, pre-book your meal if you're in business, you're lucky enough to be there, etc., etc. So let's hope for more personalization and more seamless systems so that we can at least manage our bookings seamlessly in 10 years' time.
Fantastic, John. Thank you so much for taking the time. Can we all say thank you to John? Thank you. Now, John, you have to be somewhere. So if you wouldn't mind, would you exit swiftly?
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now, one of the John was talking about crystal ball, and one of the things I have for you now, I have a few minutes of excitement. 10 years ago, I was at an event like this with an audience such as yourselves, and I made some predictions. I made some predictions about travel and technology. So as John was saying, he didn't like looking into a crystal ball. I didn't have that choice. The organizer asked and forced me to make some predictions. So I'm going to show you the predictions I made 10 years ago, and we're going to check which ones were right and which ones were wrong. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to show you my 10-year out predictions, and we'll try again in 2034. Now, so my name is Ewan, and I advise companies on technology. And in doing so, I hope to parse the crazy, exciting stuff that we see, but actually say, look, that's really cool, but here are things you should be thinking about. So stand by. Will you come with me on this journey? Now, I should point out, the last time I did it, it was about 10 or 11 years ago. Three people, feel free to disagree with me, but 3 people at this event stood up. They were in the back row. I still remember it. And 3 of them, each from different companies, said, "You're wrong!" They actually stood up and yelled. I still remember it. And these were luminaries in the travel industry. I don't think I was, but there was a different point of view. So I'm hoping we have an easier process now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Let me try my. Does my clicker? There we go. Okay, right. Here we go. Let's make sure it's working. Is it? Does it? Oh, I'll press the button. Okay. So here we are. 10 years ago. Here are the predictions I made. So judge me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go through these. Okay. So travel will be purchased on mobile. Okay. All right. But careful, I didn't say all travel. Right. Customers will all order food on mobile. This was the screaming one. This was where people were horrified. And I shall explain. Beacons will help us navigate destinations. So we'll talk about that one. Okay. Mobile will be the center of the travel experience. Okay. And then my last one, the laundry math problem will be fixed. Okay. So how did I get on? Well, let's go. This is my rough ready reckoner. Okay. So travel will be purchased in mobile. Let's go into that, right? But the beacons, oh dear. It was a big thing. Beacons, Bluetooth beacons. I don't know if you recall it. It was a big thing, but it went nowhere. And then the laundry math problem. I will discuss that. Let's just get into it and see how we get on. So travel will be purchased on mobile. These are the slides. I cut and paste these last night. These are the slides that I was showing you 10 years ago. And I was saying, look, IHG, $40 million had been booked on digital, on mobile. I was trying to explain, a lot of people were disagreeing with me when I said, look, people will open email. They will open email on their phone. And many of our colleagues in the audience were going, why? I said, well, I think they will. It's convenient. But actually now, I think it's almost the only way that people consume email. We had Carl Sparks from Travelocity, if you remember them, talking. These were big statements I was making. And as I was putting these slides on screen, the representatives from the travel industry, I could see majority going in the audience, shaking their heads. Now, I didn't know if I would be right, but I felt, look, some 5% would do it. But I think I can say I was right with this one. But of course, we just heard John there talking through, the reality is not everyone is doing it, but mobile is a thing now. Okay. Customers will order food on mobile. Now, DoorDash, the big American popular one, that was 2013, the year before I was speaking, presenting those slides. Deliveroo in the UK, so DoorDash, the American one. I mean, there's others, but these are just examples. Deliveroo, Talabat here was 2004. But actually, they launched their mobile, their iOS, Android, 2012. Then Uber Eats was a little bit later. That's 2014. But no, it was not the manager from the Savoy. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it's one of the big ones in London, right? Like the Savoy, but it wasn't the Savoy. And I was sat with him, and he said, "You know nothing about luxury travel." And I said, "No, wait." I said, I'm €1,000 a night is typically what I would be paying. Now, I know that puts me at the lower end 10 years ago of travel, right? But I like to pay for travel. But I do think if you've got Deliveroo, if you've got DoorDash, if you've got these apps, I think people will order in. And the individual from not the Savoy was saying, no, absolutely not. We have restaurants for that purpose. I said, right, but if you can order from any restaurant, right, and you can choose your food, shouldn't you be embracing this, encouraging customers? And he said, we will bar them. We will bar the Deliveroo people. It's disgusting. We have people walking through. Guess what? We've seen a difference. So there was a prediction there. Now this is the easy bit, ladies and gentlemen, because it's hindsight, right? Beacons. Here's where I just got this wrong. I was hoping, and look, in my defense, you can see some actual logos here. The concept with Bluetooth beacons, little devices, the idea was, and it was a good idea, I think, the idea was you have these beacons everywhere. So we are in Albert 2 here at the moment, the room. Now you should be theoretically, if the industry had done its thing with beacons, you could arrive in to reception downstairs. Your phone would then say there was some event. It would just pop up, just like your iPhone does with Bluetooth, and say, here are some interesting, here are the rooms. And I like to go to Albert 2, because that's where journeys and technology is happening. And it will navigate you, right? This way, that way. Well, we're still trying, right? So that didn't work. Look, Emirates was doing this. These are slides I was showing off 10 years ago. It just didn't happen. Okay, the center of the travel experience. This I had a lot of individuals disagreeing with me here. I did this. There's a slide here. This is my Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Food, shelter. I added on Wi-Fi and battery life, right? And I was at the Formula One, Abu Dhabi. That's where I was speaking. And I remember individuals going, absolutely nonsense. Wi-Fi. We provide a premium guest experience. And I said, look, I think people want to be connected. They're going to want to be connected. Well, I know I want to be, but I know I'm a bit of a geek. But people are going to want to be connected. You're going to want a fast Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. Interesting. I was pointing out here are data services I can't live without. Now, if you think about how you use your phone now, really interesting. But I was talking with hoteliers, I was talking with travel agents and saying, look, prepare and think about this as an opportunity. Don't be dragged by the customer. You have an open mind here. But it was interesting watching people's responses here. See up there where it says 4. I said nothing is more important to me. Well, nothing is more important to me than my iPhone's battery life. I said, don't give me a glass of champagne when I arrive. Give me a charger. And that was when batteries were, this was iPhone 6. iPhone 6, 10 years ago. Okay. Okay. Number 5. I just thought we'd have dealt with this, ladies and gentlemen. And for those of you in the hotelier space, what are we doing still? Right? So 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I stood in front of the industry, and I said, when are we going to fix the bit of paper? Right, for the laundry. When are we going to fix this? And 10 years ago, managers from serious hotels were saying, you don't understand. You don't understand. It's how do we deal with the dishonest guests? And I said, I don't care. It's €1,500 I'm paying, right? I do not expect to have to do a math test when I'm doing laundry, right? But I just thought we'd have fixed this. And this, by the way, this was €900 in the Algarve. This one, Portugal. And you see, I did my. Come with me, ladies and gentlemen, right here. I added up the socks and the boxer shorts and whatever, right? €53, I thought. And then they said, no. They corrected my math. They said, no, you got it wrong. You got it wrong, it's 58. Right, so I still have a serious problem with that one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm astonished that we haven't fixed that. Okay. Okay. The one thing, here's another thing that, this is where we came to blows. I was trying to highlight the value of technology to the luxury experience. And yes, I know I'm being really, really challenging when I'm saying, look, I could use my phone in resort. And I understand that if you are paying for it and you're expecting a luxury experience, human-delivered luxury experience would be the default, yes. But I was highlighting what I did in various different events. I would say, look, here we are in a hotel. Let me try and order a Coke from my app. And my argument was customers would want the basics to be managed by technology. You might want to plug in your PC. There we go. Okay. Now, ordering a Coke, that's when I had individuals standing up saying, if you have to order a Coke, if you have to use your phone, our hotel has failed. But actually, I was trying to point out, look, it's really simple. If I want a Coca-Cola, I should be able to order one from my phone, right? Just bring it to me. That doesn't reduce the luxury experience for me. Okay, I don't want to have to rely on a human all the time. Okay. Oh, we've got it. That's good. Okay, right. Are you ready now? Predictions for next decade. Okay. Before I give you my predictions, here, Michaela and team asked some what's front of mind from a technology standpoint. Have a watch of this one.
There's a mix of challenges out there from the pricing right now, availability, everything's been booming again, as we all know. And then I'm also concerned for the mix of information online. And as AI gets stronger, it's going to be very hard to decipher what is real and what's not.
Clients can access everything, so they know exactly something that I believe is really special. And that's why it's so great to have Journeys, because again, it's a people's business more so than AI.
There we go. Interesting. So did you hear the phrase AI, 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 AI? Let's get into that. So my predictions for for the next 10 years. Can we finally get check-in seamless? Check-in to the hotels, right? Goodness me, ladies and gentlemen, we still are not quite there yet, are we? If you look at your check-in experience, typically is exactly the same as it was 15 years ago, 50 years ago. Can I see your passport? Can I have your credit card? A little bit? Better than 50. Okay, fair point. I mean, it's slightly better. Okay, all right. Our travel experience will be fully connected. Right? Okay. I'm going to go through these. We'll have AI agents helping everyone. Conversation will be a primary interface. I'll talk about this briefly. Then human creation will be highly valued. Now, I do think we'll see some really interesting trends here. So when I'm saying check-in will finally be seamless, here this is me 2011 at the Hilton in Houston. I booked the Hilton there, and 2 days beforehand I got an email from them saying, what would you like in your room? 2011, it was really cool. So I ordered a Coke and some mineral water. So when I got to the room, it was there. Haven't really seen that anywhere else. Mobile check-in from Marriott, the Hilton, etc. You may have used this. In fact, has anyone had a completely seamless, where you didn't have to mess around with passports and money and cards? Have you experienced that in a hotel? Anyone here? No?
It's very close in the US.
We're getting there in the US. Yes, and if you're American, they're not having to ask for your ID. That's it. The ID is an issue. But I'm wondering why you have to still show. Can you send it ahead, etc. So I've only had it once, and that was at the Radisson Stockholm, where I'd filled in my data ahead of time, and they just said yes, and you come, and it was seamless. But so I think over the next 10 years, we need to make this better. I think we'll finally, hopefully, have got a seamless check-in. Okay, right. A travel experience will be fully connected. Now we're getting there, right? I gave you some examples here of just Crowne Plaza. I'm at the Crowne Plaza up the road at the moment. And it's interesting that we're beginning to see that aspect of making everything as smooth as possible. But when I say our experience will be fully connected, still, as John was saying, these systems aren't talking to each other, right? It is impressive to be able to press a button and have a club sandwich arrive. Great. Yeah, that's nice. What's not fun is the payment experience, right? What's quite annoying is getting off the plane and saying, where's the taxi? And if you haven't been to that airport, everybody else knows, but you don't. For example, marhaba. I used marhaba. I pressed the button. I booked for my fast track to fly in here to Dubai. Very good. And there's a little button beneath it saying, would you like a taxi to the hotel? I thought, do you know what? I've never done this before. Yes. Press the button. I get there. The lady gets me through fast track. I just say, how do I? She said, just up there on the right. I said, where? She said, no, you just go up there on the right. She knows. So I said, but wait, what you mean? Out? You come out of, right, I take my baggage and go out. Yes. And then she said, just to the right. Okay, well, it wasn't just to the right, because just to the right is Emirates, right? That's the Emirates one. It's to the far right, okay? And you actually have to come out. I hopefully will get things super connected, right? Okay, right, next one. I did want to highlight this one here. Now this is UAE in particular. I've seen this, but in other markets where they force you into a credit card, right? Check-in, it's really good. I love this. Scan my code. Yes, club sandwich, literally club sandwich ordered. Chap comes to the room with that flippin' machine. That I find very annoying. It didn't work. This is him resetting it. in my room, right? Food's sitting there. He's having to reset the thing so we can pay. This is unfortunate. We want things to be connected. Now, AI agents. Have you tried an AI agent? If you want to try one, I've linked. This is Pi by Anthropic. You use the QR code. You can add a little AI agent on WhatsApp. You can talk to it on WhatsApp. Here is me asking my AI agent. It's limited at the minute, right? Set your expectations. But this is a competitor to ChatGPT. And you can access it on WhatsApp. So here is me saying, tell me about SLS hotel and residencies in Dubai. And you can see it saying, yes. It's trying to be friendly. And it's got this information. It's rather reliable, very impressive. And then I say, do they have a spa? It's me asking my agent, right? Do they have a spa? Yes, they do. It's got lovely views and come in. It's very good. Okay. I then say, can you book me a massage? No. No. Not yet. Not yet. Right? But what I think we'll see in 10 years is I think we'll see agents, you having your own financial agent, your own travel agent, your own agent to manage school pickup, school drop-off, and so on. So get ready for agents and be thinking about this because many businesses need to make sure they're plugging in and using this tech. I said conversation as a primary interface. One of the great things about AI, natural language processing, is that we can speak to the thing and the thing can parse what we are saying and then take action. Can't necessarily understand us yet, but across the next few years, it's understanding the patterns in your language and then theoretically able to understand you. Now, this is why we see Heathrow Airport saying, chat to us. Chat to us. So think about your businesses. What are they doing? How are you working with conversation? So conversation by typing. If you think your whole world is driven by WhatsApp or the like, I think we'll see more and more of this. And just as an example, I Googled hotel name WhatsApp, just to show you how this is already a thing. That having WhatsApp and having these capabilities is really, really important. Okay. And number 5, don't worry. I was highlighting that I do think human is going to become even more valuable. You'll have some individuals, some crazies, that we may refer to them, who will use AI to say, look, I'm planning a 3.5-day, 2.6-hour trip to Venice. Show me what to do. And that's cool. I think the premium will be, what should I be doing in Venice, and asking someone who knows and who's been there. So I think across 10 years, the human aspect is going to be more and more and more important and more valuable. So I think that's hopefully good news for travel agents. Okay, right. Now, thank you for your patience, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today. I'll hand over to Michaela. I'll see you at 2034.
Thank you, Ewan. Thank you very much, Ewan. I always find your presentations highly enlightening. And yet, absolutely, let's meet again in 2034 and see where we're at. But very interesting stuff. And thank you also to John of DNATA for giving us his insights, which again were really, really insightful. Where are we next? We, as Journeys, we're going to be on our own next adventures, and you can see them up there. But I know you guys are all in a rush to go to the Dubai World Centre. I wanted to thank the SLS Hotels and Residences, TTN Middle East, and obviously DNATA for partnering up with us. I hope you found this session interesting. And I shall see you very soon. Thank you.
I have one question. One question to you.
One question. Go on. Yes, sir.
When can I order food from, say, New York and get it in 10 minutes here?
Ooh, maybe in 10. Let's see if we can get that. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's quite a thing. Maybe not 10 years. Maybe 100. It depends. Yeah. Good question, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks.